The Chagos Islands arrangement is an object lesson in just how not to conduct diplomacy, manage public money, or maintain political credibility. We're told that this is a strategic arrangement to hand sovereignty to Mauritius while leasing back Diego Garcia, the Anglo American military base that is our most important foothold in the Indian Ocean. That may sound pragmatic until you look at the numbers. And the numbers are not just embarrassing, they are politically toxic. Starmer said 3.4 billion over 99 years would be spent. The government's actuaries department first costed it at 34.7 billion, 10 times higher, before officials began chiselling the figure down via inflation assumptions and the Treasury's social time preference rate. This isn't creative accounting, it's political misdirection, and the cost of payments in real money over the next century is staggering, yet Parliament has denied the true figures until a freedom of information request dragged them into the daylight. The comparison figures are damning. £35 billion is roughly 10 new aircraft carriers, more than half the annual schools budget, or the entire national policing budget twice over. It's enough to eliminate the UK's £17 billion pothole backlog twice. Yet the money will not go to our crumbling services, but to Mauritius, a country which days before signing the deal was cozying up to China and Russia. It's an irony bordering on farce that as Rachel Reeves talks of raising taxes to fill a £50 billion fiscal hole, we will be in effect subsidising tax cuts in Port Louis. This is not simply a matter of cost. There are national security implications. Under the treaty, Mauritius gains rights to information on Allied military movements and operations. In an era of strategic competition, when Beijing and Moscow are probing for any advantage, that is an extraordinary concession. Starmer's claim that China, Russia and Iran opposed the deal looks shaky when officials in those states have welcomed it. In diplomacy, the moment your adversaries cheer your treaty is the moment you should reread it very carefully. And then there's a question of precedent. A government that misleads Parliament on a deal of this magnitude corrodes its own authority. Ministers have justified the accounting method as standard for long-term projects, yet they didn't apply it when announcing popular spending plans. This selectivity makes it impossible to escape the conclusion that the method was chosen not for fiscal consistency, but for political camouflage. In historical terms, it smacks of the 1956 Suez debacle in reverse. Then we overreached militarily and were humiliated diplomatically. Now we are giving away strategic territory voluntarily and paying for the privilege and congratulating ourselves as if this were an act of national foresight. The dissonance is extraordinary. And there's a legitimate case for resolving long-running sovereignty dispute with Mauritius and addressing the displacement of Chagosians. But that case rests on transparency, national security safeguards and value for money. On all three counts, this deal fails. It binds the UK into a century-long financial commitment under terms negotiated in evident haste by a team either outmanoeuvred or intent on pleasing the wrong audience. When the Commons return, Starmer will face calls for a correction and an apology. But the real reckoning will come in the erosion of trust, from allies who see us as poor negotiators, from adversaries who sense weakness, and from taxpayers who see the government writing billion-pound cheques while pleading poverty at home. In the long history of bad bargains, the Chagos deal has now to have the honour of having a place near the top of that list.